and this video is in regards to how to crack prelims 2020. And prior to that, you have a notification for how to crack UPSC CSE through India's largest learning platform, that is Unacademy. And once you subscribe for it, you will have access which is unlimited live and recorded courses from India's best educators. And you also have the other privileges, that is you will have daily live classes wherein you can chat with your educator, engage, and you can also ask your doubts and also be part of the answer polls. You also have the live test and quizzes wherein you can evaluate your preparation with our regular mock test and quizzes, and wherein you can also get detailed analysis on your performance. You also have the structured courses wherein all our courses are structured in line with the UPSC exam syllabus, which would help you best prepare for it. You have the unlimited access, that is upon subscription you would get access to all our live and recorded courses wherein you can watch it from your mobile or laptop. And you also have the top educators on the Unacademy subscription. These are the one who are the top educators. And then you have the UPSC CSE various rituals or the various courses, that is polity, history, current affairs, economy, geography, optional courses, UPSC CSE batches, environment and science and technology. And then you also have the courses on governance, practice and strategy, CSAT paper, ethics, integrity and aptitude, Indian society, social issues, essay writing, internal security, and also the answer writing courses along with the interview preparation. And in regards to the subscription, UPSC CSE subscription, you have 12 months and 24 months subscription, wherein 12 months subscription the original price is 40,000, and then you can go ahead with the subscription, and once you use my code while subscribing, that is SBT10, you will get additional 10% discount upon 40,000 for 12 months. That is, the price would be later on after discount, it would be 36,000, and for 24 months the original price is 48,000. And once you go ahead with the subscription with my code, that is SBT10, you will get additional 10% on the 48,000, and the amount would come up to 43,200, wherein actually for 24 months you would be paying for the amount of only 12 months plus 1 month, that is you will be paying 40,000 plus 8,000, which is 48,000. So it is always recommended for the civil services preparation 2 years solid preparation. And also when you go ahead with subscribing 24 months, you are getting added advantage, that is you are paying for 24 months only the amount which you pay for 12 months plus 1 month, that is 40 plus 8,000 would be 48,000. But again upon this 48,000, when you use my code when you are subscribing, that is SBT10, then the amount of 48,000, 10% on this would come up to 43,200. So you have this opportunity to go ahead with subscribing for 24 months. You are subscribing for 24 months, but you are paying only the amount of 12 months plus 1 month. So please take this opportunity, go ahead with the subscribing. If at all you haven't gone with the subscribing, then go ahead with the subscription and then get the total benefit of the classes of mine, and also the all the top educators who would be teaching in the Unacademy platform. And now we will get into the Hindu, that is the analysis of the Hindu newspaper. And the topics to be discussed today are SARS COVID-2 virus and G20 commits, not summits, commits. So what were the commitments taken up in the G20 virtual summit? And we would also look at the virus, SARS COVID-2 virus. And what the news says is the speed at which the virus is spreading is shocking. Who is saying this? The researchers are saying it. They say the speed at which the virus is spreading is shocking, says the research. So who is the researcher? That is from Chennai. Pavitra Venkata Gopalan. She is a PhD from Arizona State University in the US, and her research is focused on coronavirus. And we will look at what she says upon the research on the coronavirus. And the research scholar is presenting the COVID case, the case that which is causing or which has the SARS-CoV-2 virus, which has caused the COVID-19, is a strain. So they say it is a strain. It is a, what you say, a segment kind of thing, a strain, wherein its ability to make RNAs without DNAs, this is very important. That means we are just getting into the technicality of the virus, which is again in regards to the research point of view. We are trying to get the kind of strains, biological and all that, so that this strain, that is SARS-CoV-2, SARS-CoV-2, which is the causing agent for COVID-19, the virus which is the cause for the COVID-19, it is a strain, it is a single strain because it has the ability to make RNAs without the DNA, because every organism we know, it has both the DNA and RNA. But here in this case, this virus SARS-CoV-2, this strain has RNA, or it has the ability to make RNAs without the DNA, that is ribonucleic acid and then dinucleic acid, which is part of the, what you say, each and every organism. But here in this case, the virus CoV-2, SARS-CoV-2, it is the ability to make RNA without the DNA. This is very important in regards to the technical point of view if asked in the prelims examination. And the synthesizing of RNA happened in most organisms through an enzyme called DNA direct RNA polymerase. That means in many of the organisms, the synthesizing of RNA takes place. In many of the organisms, or most of the organisms, the synthesizing of RNAs takes place with an enzyme called as DNA. So it is DNA directed RNA polymerase. This DNA directed RNA polymerase which synthesizes the RNA. So it is the DNA directed RNA polymerase which is an enzyme which actually synthesizes the RNA in most of the organisms. So this is very important for the technical point of view for prelims and a better understanding about the virus, that is SARS-CoV-2. It is a single strain. It has the ability to make RNAs without DNAs. But when you consider that with many of the organisms, the synthesis of RNA actually takes place with an enzyme that is called DNA directed RNA polymerase. But here in this case, it is in the absence of DNA, which is the SARS-CoV-2 virus is going ahead with the making of the RNAs. The synthesizing happened in coronaviruses, that is, which is similar to other viruses, through RNA dependent RNA polymerase. So please understand, here we are talking, I'll just go to the previous page. Generally, or in the most of the organisms, enzyme that is DNA directed RNA polymerase synthesizes RNA. DNA directed RNA polymerase. But in the case of this virus, that is coronavirus, it is synthesizing is taking place, that is the RNA synthesizing is taking place through RNA dependent RNA polymerase. Please understand, this is the most, a peculiar case which is happening in this virus. The synthesizing is happening through, not through DNA dependent RNA polymerase, but it is happening through RNA dependent RNA polymerase without the DNA. Since they are single stranded RNA viruses, which lack DNA. This is very important. Again, if a question is asked in this fashion, because everyone starts preparing their questions based on the health crisis, and then in regards to the how it is being spread, and then the impact on the economic crisis. Yes, there could be possibility that all that could be asked, but we need to also cover in such a way that the question can be asked technically in this fashion. So it is the coronavirus which synthesizes the RNA through RNA dependent RNA polymerase, because it is a single stranded RNA virus. So coronavirus is a single stranded RNA virus, but not double stranded RNA virus, because it is not having DNA, it lacks DNA, but still it is going ahead with the synthesizing of RNA through RNA dependent RNA polymerase. And what the research, the researcher also has said is that the E proteins, which is one E protein, is one of the three proteins with the spike protein and the membrane protein that created the envelope of the virus. This is again technical. We will try to definitely make the most benefit of our explanation through the diagram. So this is E protein. This one is the E protein. This one. So what it says, E protein, which is one of the three proteins, along with the spike protein. So which is a spike protein? Here this is a spike. Fine. And the membrane protein. So which is a membrane protein? This is a membrane protein. So spike is the this one, and then membrane protein is the here. Fine. And then you have the E protein, this one at this point. Fine. So these three proteins, membrane protein, that created the envelope of the virus. The total envelope of the virus is created by the E protein, and then the other one is the spike protein S1, and then the third one is the membrane protein, this one. This totally has created the envelope. This what we can see, this envelope, this one, entire one. So this is the protein based explanation wherein it has been given by the researcher. There are three proteins. Again I am saying technically, if the question is asked in the prelims, which among the proteins of, or else which among the coronavirus proteins create the envelope of the virus, or he gives a statement and say, if it asks, the UPSC might ask that which among the statements are incorrect. In regards to that, you have the E protein here, you have the spike protein, that is the top one here. What we can see, these red ones are the spike proteins. Fine. And then the E proteins are the one which are the almost at the envelope. Fine. And then M protein at the membrane. All these three together create the envelope of the virus. And then the other point mentioned here by the research scholar is that the spike protein, that is this one, the spike protein in the virus and its affinity to the ACE receptor in human cell. There is a what you say link between the human receptors, that is the ACE2 receptors in the human cells, and then the spike protein in the virus. This is actually creating a kind of bondage, that is the affinity between the virus to the human cells. Please do understand this technicality again. The spike protein in the virus, that is the SARS coronavirus, is creating affinity to the human cells by the which receptor, or the which among the following receptors, that is ACE2 receptors. Again, for prelims point of view, please do understand it carefully. And since there is a strong binding with the ACE2 receptor of the human cell, the virus is able to infect and multiply even with a very small number of the coronavirus. and then they entering into the human body. So the now we are knowing the technicality, how it, what are the proteins involved in it, and how the entire envelope is built to the coronavirus, and then which are the one which are actually having the affinity to the human cells, that is the spike protein, the tough one. Spike protein is this one, that is this red one, what we can see. This is the one which have the affinity or the bondage to the human cell, that is the receptor. Which receptor is that? ACE2 receptor. And this strong binding with the ACE2 will infect and multiply n number of times, even with a very small number of virus entering into the human body. So we have looked at the intricacies of how the virus or else the proteins of it, then how the synthesis is taking place by the single strand, that is the coronavirus CoV2, SARS-CoV-2, wherein the synthesis takes place not on the basis of the DNA dependent RNA polymerase, but it is RNA dependent RNA polymerase. And then we have looked at the proteins, and then how it is actually getting into the human cells and then infecting and multiplying, because the spike protein is getting has a strong affinity with the ACE2 receptor in the human cells. And now we will go to the next topic, that is the G20 commits. So there were commits which were made in the G20 summit, wherein the G20 summit was a virtual summit which has taken place. Because the virtual summit has taken place, the reason is because of the COVID-19 scare. The scare of COVID-19, it has really shaken the entire world, irrespective of the developing or developed or least developed countries. It has shaken very badly, that the global economy has been hit. And then because of that, there was commitments made in the in the G20 summit, that they have gone ahead with the 5 trillion US dollars. So we will look at the commits now. The G20 countries have committed that they will inject 5 trillion US dollars into the global economy. Why? That as a solidarity response fund. This is very important. I think I have told you in the previous classes that what is the project which is taken up by the WHO, if it is that question being mentioned in the preliminary. So the project taken up by the WHO on the sidelines or because of the COVID-19 pandemic, that is what the project is, the Solidarity Response Fund or Solidarity Response Project, led by WHO. And this G20 summit was hosted by the Saudi king, that is Salman bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud. So again here this statement has the entire factual data. If it is asked for the films, the amount is 5 trillion US dollars, and the project is Solidarity Response Project by the WHO, hosted by the Saudi Arabia, that is the Saudi king, that is Salman bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud. And then we will look at what was also mentioned by Narendra Modi while he was participating the video conference of the G20 summit. He has said that the world needs what it needs, that it needs to redefine what it needs to redefine. It wants to redefine its conversation on what? On globalization. Why? Because he says that the redefinition on the globalization has to take place, because he says the social and humanitarian issues, I repeat, he wants to include, or he wants that redefining of globalization. This is very important again for prelims and mains point of view, because there could be question in the mains asking that what are the prerequisites that our Prime Minister Narendra Modi has made a point to redefine the globalization, or which are the points, which are the areas or concerns that has to be part of the redefining of the globalization, that is which includes social and humanitarian issues. So the need of the hour, that Narendra Modi, that is Prime Minister of India, thinks that it has to be included, or redefining the globalization is to include the social and humanitarian issues such as terrorism, climate change, and pandemics, along with the financial and economic discussions. So the point made by our Prime Minister is well taken, because it is the need of the hour for the entire global economies or the entire countries, that there has to be a change in the conversations on globalization. That redefining has to take place on the basis of social and humanitarian issues such as terrorism, climate change, and then pandemics, what we are experiencing now in regards to COVID-19. That too, along with the financial and economic discussions. So this was the point made, or the emphasis made, by our Prime Minister Narendra Modi during or speaking at the video conference, that is in regards to the G20 Summit. And the leaders have agreed for more interaction between the G20 foreign ministers. And there would be again health officials and the respective heads would be meeting before the Riyadh summit. So there would be a summit in the Riyadh, that is of the G20 nations, in November 2020. So the next summit, that is a Riyadh summit, which would take place in November 2020. Again, this, it could be that he would ask you the one which has taken up, and he would, what do you say, give the information what the UPSC might give the information about what has taken up and taken, and then he would ask about what is to be taken up in the future. That is Riyadh summit, which would take place in November 2020. And many countries have been critical about one thing, that is they feel that WHO has been a failure. Why failure? That it was a failure to alert the world. How? Why? Because as the virus was, what you just spread in Wuhan, even, what you say, in the last year, that is December 31st 2019 itself, but the WHO could not quickly bring in that kind of notion, or that kind of probability that there is a potential threat from the pandemic. It had, what do you say, come up saying that the coronavirus is pandemic only during, what do you say, March, end of first week or second week beginning. The WHO has confirmed that COVID-19 or the coronavirus is pandemic. So many countries were critical about the way the WHO has handled the pandemic COVID-19. And there was a joint statement which was issued at the end of the summit. This is again important for prelims and also for the mains point of view. So for the prelims point of view, if the question is asked, which among the following are not part of the joint statement issued in the recent held G20 summit? So the joint statement said the unprecedented COVID-19 pandemic is a powerful reminder of our interconnectedness and vulnerabilities. Yes, definitely. To a larger extent, this pandemic has reminded everyone that nobody is in isolation. Everybody should come together. Everybody should work together to fight against the coronavirus, the deadly virus, or else everyone would be wiped out. The humankind would be wiped out. And then it is definitely a powerful reminder for all the countries that they are interconnected. They are not, what do you say, independent. Even though we are all independent sovereign countries, but we are still interdependent and interconnected, and we are all prone to the vulnerable, or the vulnerabilities of the pandemics which have taken place in the past, and now the, the, the pandemic, which is a powerful reminder for everyone. The keyword here, what you need to keep it in mind, is interconnected, and interconnected is the one. Vulnerable is not really required, but interconnectedness. The virus respects no border, as we all know that. And then combating this pandemic calls for a transparent, robust, coordinated, large scale, and science based global response is very important in regards to the spirit of solidarity. That is what the joint statement of the G20 summit has come up. What it says is here we need to follow is the second part of the paragraph, that is from here: combating this pandemic calls for a transparent. This is very important. Why the focus is made on transparent? That means what is actually happening or happened in the first epicenter of the COVID-19 in China, and then a robust mechanism has to be put in place to go ahead with the genome sequencing, and then experimental clinics, and then going ahead with the clinical tested drugs on the animals, and then onto the healthy volunteers, and then finally concluding it as a clinically tested drug by the WHO, robust, coordinated, and at a large scale, and then it has to be all science-based global response in the spirit of solidarity is the one which is made in the joint statement of the SAC or in the G20 summit. Extremely sorry. We will share timely and transparent. The summit says we will share timely and transparent information, exchange of epidemiological and clinical data, share materials which are necessary for research and development, and strengthening the global health system, and also supporting the full implementation of WHO International Health Regulation. So now you will understand why I have said you please focus this keyword interconnectedness. This word interconnectedness keyword is very important, which is mentioned in the joint statement. Again, when we look at this paragraph, you will understand the importance of the word interconnectedness. That means there has to be timely and transparent information, and then exchange of epidemiological and clinical data, share the materials necessary for research and development, and strengthen the not only individual countries, strengthen the health system globally. The joint statement says to strengthen the global health system, and including through supporting the full implementation of what WHO, that is International Health Regulations, come up with. So we will look at again from factual point of view, wherein the probability of UPSC framing the question. So we will look at the G20. So G20 is a premier forum wherein its members are international economic cooperation, part of the international economic cooperation, and the decision making are the members of the G20, and they are the premier forum, which are the members of the international economic cooperation and decision making. Its members comprises 19 countries plus, what is this plus? This is the European Union. So you have the 19 countries plus 1, that is the European Union, and each G20 president invites several guest countries each year. So it is upon the each country to invite various countries to serve as a guest for G20 summit. So thereby our Prime Minister Narendra Modi has also been part as a guest, wherein the G20 president invites or is invited the in regards to our Indian Prime Minister being part of the video conferencing for the G20 summit. He is invited in the sense because of the COVID-19, there is no possibility that they would go personally or travel. Traveling is totally cut. So it is the president. Again, what you need to look at is that the president invites the several guest countries. It is the president who goes ahead with. The G20 started in the year 1999. Actually, initially, many of them think that G20 has no doubt in the year 2008, but its roots are in the year 2019. And there was a meeting of finance ministers and then the central bank governors after the Asian financial crisis, which has occurred. The result, or the what do you say, the aftermath of the Asian financial crisis in the year 1999, the finance ministers and the central bank governors have come together, and then they thought about there has to be a body. And then the next is in the year 2008, the G20, I mean, no doubt G20 has started it, but the impact of it has actually been felt in the year 2008 when there was a global financial crisis or the global recession which has taken place in the year 2008, wherein the first G20 leaders summit has held. It is no doubt it has started in the year 1999, but the summit has taken place. The first G20 summit has taken place in the year 2008, wherein the G20 leaders have played a crucial or a key role in responding positively or coming up with the innovative ideas how to tackle the global economic recession. And the G20's decisive and coordinated actions have boosted the consumers and the business confidence after the 2008 global economic recession. And immediately we could see the economic, that is the recession to the recovery, has taken place because of the decisive and coordinated and the measures or the innovative ideas taken up by the G20 leaders in the year 2008. The recovery of the economy has again surged post 2008 economic recession. And then G20 is supported by various international organizations. Again, this for prelims point of view, it could be which among the following are the international organizations which support the G20. So it is the Financial Stability Board, the International Labour Organization, International Monetary Fund, and then Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, that is OECD, and then United Nations and the World Bank and the World Trade Organization. So these are the international organizations which G20 is supported. That means G20 is supported by the various international organizations. I repeat once again for the benefit of the viewers: the international organizations of Financial Stability Board, the International Labour Organization, that is ILO, International Monetary Fund, that is IMF, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, that is OECD, United Nations UN, World Bank WB, World Trade Organization WTO. So these are the one which supports the G20. So we have looked at the G20, and then we have also looked at the factual points wherein the UPSC might focus, and then we have also looked at the joint statement of the G20 summit, what it has said and how it has to go ahead. We have looked into the keyword, that is the interconnectedness, and then we have looked at what the G20 has come up with the commitments, that is 5 trillion US dollars, that is the global economy has to what is it is creeping down. And then because of the or on the basis of the solidarity response fund by the WHO, because of this they have come up with injecting 5 trillion US dollars and hosted by the Saudi king, that is Salman bin Abdul Aziz. So in regards to prelims point of view, this session would be very useful for the prelims and also mains for factual and analytical point of view. So you are thorough with the 2-1, that is G20 commits, and also in regards to SARS-CoV-2 virus, wherein we have looked at the technicality of it in regards to the RNA, DNA, single stranded it is, and then we have also looked at DNA directed RNA polymerase, and then we have also looked at RNA dependent RNA polymerase, and then it is a single stranded RNA virus. We have looked at the proteins, the 3 proteins, that is the E protein, the spike protein, S1, spike is S1, and then the membrane protein, which is the M1, all 3 together that creates the envelope, and this is the protein, that is a spike protein, which actually has affinity, that is, it is very closely, or it is having a strong bond in the to the human cells, that is in regards to the ACE receptors. And this, because of the strong bonding with the ACE2 receptors, the virus is spreading or infecting and multiplying even though the numbers are very small. So we have looked at it technically, and please do what you say, look at this foot, I mean the image, which will give you a better understanding. This image is the SARS coronavirus, and this is the, what do you say, the way, the outer part. But when you go ahead with the dissectional one, this is the E protein, M protein, and then the S protein, that is a spike. This is nucleoprotein N and RNA genome, this one. So what the researchers are going ahead with the genome sequencing, that is RNA genome sequencing, wherein they are trying to find out the messenger mRNA. Genome sequencing, they are finding out therein how, again, it could be, what you say, useful for the going ahead with the testing of the drugs. So I suppose this information was helpful, informative, and then you are well equipped for the prelims 2020 and also for the mains point of view. And then you please go ahead with liking the video, subscribe video, and then hit the bell button when you're watching the video on the YouTube, that is Let's Crack UPSC CSE English. Please do go ahead with subscribing the Let's Crack UPSC CSE English channel, and then you can subscribe by using my code SBT10, that is Sandeep Bhushan Thummala 10. And once you subscribe using my code, you will get 10% discount on the entire amount. So make sure that you go ahead with the subscription, do not waste time, and then see you tomorrow at 8:30 p.m.